birthday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I literally cannot believe the response that we got from our first video on Tuesday. So thank you. That means the world to all of us at V, because we've been working our butts off for a really long time. So to see that there's a great response and we're up to almost 900 views of our video, for us, that's a pretty big deal. You know, we're a small team, and like I said, we're just happy to have you interested and with us as subscribers and customers and, you know, students, people that want to learn more. So thank you for that. We really appreciate it. So today we're going to be working on toasting nuts, which seems sort of easy, right? But I'm going to teach you some tricks that I've learned over time that make the process sort of streamlined across the board. And also, I'm going to teach you how to flavor them so that you don't have to buy any of those fancy flavored nuts in the store anymore. You can just make your own. And it's really up to half of the price. Sometimes, you know, not quite, but it's much more, you know, money saving and time saving and all of that stuff to just do it in one big bundle at home, package them up in mason jars, and then you're good to go for a solid month or more. So again, in case you're new, I'm Lindsay. I'm the founder of V. V is a meal planning service that aims to save you money at the grocery store. So what we do is we take all the sale items at local stores, like those weekly specials flyers that you see when you walk in the door. We take those items and we turn them into meal plans. So what that means is you get a weekly shopping list, a menu, and recipes, all based on where you live and you shop. So if you go to Harris Teeter, you get one for Harris Teeter. If you go to Wegmans, you get one for Wegmans. Right now we write plans for Whole Foods, Wegmans, Harris Teeter, Kroger, Trader Joe's, and we've just launched into all the way down to Florida. So we're doing Publix and Earth Fare as well. So this service is for everybody. It's for people with families, people that are single, people that are students, or couples. So we want you to give it a shot. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip my camera around and start showing you some really cool things about toasting nuts. Okay? You ready to get started? Here we go. All right, it always takes me a minute just to get that part set up. And that is always super annoying. Okay, great. Let's get started. Okay, so toasted nuts. You can buy them in the store. Like I said, they're more expensive, but they also lack in flavor if they've already been toasted. The reason why is because they were toasted probably a long time ago. So buying them raw is less expensive and more flavorful if you can toast them yourself. So I'm gonna bring out a couple of examples. This is sort of like show and tell. My adult version of show and tell. Those are my dogs. That's right, crazy house. Okay, so right now we've got raw almonds, raw hazelnuts, raw sunflower seeds, and raw pine nuts, which are sometimes called pignole. So, raw nuts in general are just icky in my opinion. I know that they're good for making things like cashew milk or nut milk in general, or nut butters sometimes, but if you eat just a raw almond, it's gonna have a really sort of pasty, dull flavor to it, and I just don't think there's a whole lot going on. Hazelnuts are really bitter. The skin on the outside is really bitter if you eat those raw. Sunflower seeds are just kind of like a waste of time raw. And pine nuts have such an amazing flavor that it just doesn't make sense to me to eat them raw. So here are what all these things look like raw. I'm gonna move some out of the way, and I'm gonna teach you a little example of the difference. So, raw almonds, toasted almonds. Now these are toasted flavored almonds. So, have any of you ever picked this up at Trader Joe's? Can you see that? Yeah, that's the Thai lime and chili almonds. These things are amazing, right? They taste amazing. They have whole kaffir lime leaves inside. They're a little spicy. They're literally outrageously good, but they're also pricier than buying raw almonds. So I'm going to include this recipe on our website, but I'm going to show you how to do it today. So first of all, just some differences. Raw almond, pale in color, kind of soft when you press it, and a little dull in flavor. Toasted almond, crispy on the outside. Let's listen to this. Can you hear that? So crispy on the outside now. The skin has toasted as well as the nut on the inside. And you can tell that it's toasted because the skin starts to actually peel off. So we're gonna do a little experiment with that later. But, so right now all this is some simple ingredients. I'm gonna move my raw almonds aside. And what we do for this guy here, these are already made. We're gonna make them together. I'm gonna throw in some almonds. These are raw. I'll throw in the rest of the ones that I was showing you before. And this is a great Trader Joe's find. So you can buy all this stuff at Trader Joe's. So we've got the chili lime seasoning blend. We don't really measure here a lot. You get good at cooking and you don't need to, and that's what I want to kind of encourage all of you to do. This is super cool. This is one of those hot numbing seasoning blends. So I just found it and I've been using it sort of on everything. Again, all of this stuff is from Trader Joe's. And no, they are not sponsoring this, but it's one of my favorite places to go to get raw nuts and seasoning blends. So this right here is smoked sea salt, and I wish you could smell it because it's amazing. The aroma is like alderwood, bacony. It's great if you're vegan or vegetarian. It adds a lot of flavor. We're just gonna do a pinch of that. When in doubt, we say this a lot at V, use flavored salt because it really adds a lot to a dish. I'm gonna drizzle with a little bit of olive oil. And then I'm gonna add something really cool, and I will also share the recipe for this. It's on our website. This is a chimichurri blend that I made myself, and it's dried. So it's just cilantro, red pepper flakes, garlic, and a little bit of lemon. So I'm just gonna sprinkle some of this on. And that's it. We're gonna toss it. And then this goes in the oven. And then out comes these. So these are amazing. They really are. They're delicious. They're tasty. They taste just like the Trader Joe's brand. But like I said, you're saving a lot of money. So now we're going to move on to hazelnuts. Now this is our tip for toasting all sorts of nuts, whether they be flavored or not. So the almonds are the same deal. So these are raw. I'm going to take these guys, I'm going to put them in an oven at 350 degrees for 10 minutes. Always 10 minutes. Some smaller seeds and nuts like 7 minutes, but we'll get into that in a second. This is what they look like when they come out. Now, the difference is they're darker in color, and also the skin on the outside is starting to come off. Now, this is important because if you toast them enough, you can get almost all of the skin off. The skin is bitter, so we don't want to eat that. And this is what I learned as a pastry chef. So let me show you a cool trick. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to put down a towel, and this is just for hazelnuts, guys. There are other ways to peel almonds, but we're not going to do that today. All right. Isn't that beautiful? So we're just going to take it like this and fold it up into a little package and shake it around and kind of massage it and rub it. Food is very sensual, isn't it? Yes. So that was a speedy job, but look at how much the skin came off of a lot of these. See that? Isn't that amazing? So that's how you do hazelnuts, guys. Really simple. Finally, I'm just going to move on to our last demo of the day. Sunflower seeds and pine nuts. So like we discussed before, by themselves they're not very flavorful, right? In fact, they're kind of icky. You do the same thing we talked about before, and you preheat an oven at 350 degrees, and you put them in for 10 minutes. You can flavor these just like we did the almonds. You can add lots of different spice mixtures. This is a za'atar spice mixture that I make. That's perfect for something like pine nuts or sunflower seeds. You can use it to top salad or a grain bowl. Amazing. You can flavor them with just kosher salt or sea salt and olive oil, or you can have fun and do whatever you want. Now, look, see how they're slightly browned? That's what you're looking for. So these actually went in for 7 minutes, but it really depends on your oven. And then the pine nuts are what I really want to show you. So toasted pine nuts, there's really nothing like it. I don't know if you can tell the difference in the color, but these are a little bit more brown and they're a little bit oilier, okay? So that's another trick to make sure you know that your nuts are done, is when you toast them, as they're getting toasted, they start to really shine up, which means the oil from the inside of the nut is coming to the outside. So that's a good way to know that they're done. And my 3 rules really are: set a timer for 10 minutes, look for the oiliness on the outside of the nut, and then smell it. And if you can smell the nut toasted from the outside of your oven, that's when you know it's done. Other cool options are adding things like herbs, chopped up. You can toss them into the hot nut mixture after you've pulled it out of the oven as a fresh herb, and that would be really cool too. And then also, things like sliced almonds work as well. The only difference is that you would not toast these for very long at all, because these are so thin they have a tendency to burn. So, when I'm done, I like to put my nuts in a jar, just like this. And if they're kept in a